All right, let's dive into something that is, without a doubt, one of the most critical decisions you will ever make for your music. We're talking about publishing administration versus publishing ownership. Seriously, getting this one thing wrong can literally define your entire financial future as an artist. It can be a career-ending mistake, so let's make sure you get this right. Let me just start with a question to really set the stakes here. Could one simple misunderstanding, maybe a few lines of confusing text in a contract, cost you your music? Forever? And the scary part is, for thousands of artists, the answer has tragically been yes. That is the exact trap we are going to help you see and avoid today. So, this leads us right into what I call the ownership trap. And it's so common, but it's an incredibly costly point of confusion in the music industry. It all boils down to two little terms that sound kind of the same, but in reality, they mean completely different things. And this right here, this is the heart of the problem. So many artists hear publishing administration and publishing ownership and just assume they're basically the same service. And that assumption, that's the trap. They are fundamentally, legally, and financially different worlds. Okay, so let's clear up this confusion once and for all. We're about to break down exactly what each of these terms means. And I promise you, once you see it laid out like this, you will never ever get them mixed up again. This slide lays it all out, plain and simple. On the left, with an ownership deal, you are literally giving away a piece of your song. It's gone, permanently. The publisher's role is to control it. But on the right, with administration, you keep 100% of your song. Always. Their role is just to collect money for you. It's a service, not a transfer of your property. And just to really hammer this home, a publishing administrator is a service provider. That's it. Think of them like a super specialized accountant just for your song royalties. They do the paperwork, they register your songs everywhere they need to be, and they chase down the money you're owed. But they never, ever take a piece of your actual song. So what kind of money are they collecting? This part is so important. An administrator goes after all these different streams of income that your local PRO often can't touch. We're talking mechanical royalties from Spotify plays in, say, Germany, or performance royalties from a radio station in Japan, or even money from when your song is used in some random YouTube video. They fill in all the gaps to make sure you get every single penny. Okay, so we've got a handle on what administration is. Now let's flip the coin and talk about the real cost of going the other way. What do you actually lose when you sign away ownership in a traditional publishing deal? And believe me, it's a heck of a lot more than just money. You're giving away the power to make decisions. You lose control over where your song ends up. Someone else can say yes to putting your song in a movie you completely disagree with. You lose your veto power. You're also signing away your long-term income, and even the ability to sell your own body of work down the road. And this is a perfect real-world example. Just imagine, you write this deeply personal, heartfelt song, but because a publisher owns half of it, they can approve it for some cheesy TV commercial that you absolutely hate. And the worst part, the kicker, you have zero legal power to stop it. That's what losing control really feels like. But here is the thing you absolutely have to understand. This decision is pretty much permanent. An admin deal, you can usually leave after a year or two. But a publishing ownership deal, that's forever. There's no going back. There is no undo button when you realize 5 years down the line that you've made a terrible mistake. All right, we've covered the control aspect, which is huge. But let's be real. We also need to talk about the money, the cold, hard cash. It's time to actually look at how the numbers stack up, because the financial difference between these two paths is, well, it's staggering. So here's how the money breaks down, basically. An administrator takes a commission, right? A service fee, usually around 15%. A publisher, on the other hand, often takes a 50% ownership split. That's not a 50% fee, it's a 50% stake. That means they own half of your creation, and they get half of everything it earns. Forever! So what does it actually look like in dollars and cents? Let's just take a modest catalog, one that's earning about $50,000 a year in publishing royalties. Over 10 years, the difference between paying a 15% admin fee versus giving up a 50% ownership split comes out to a whopping $175,000. That is life-changing money just left on the table. And just look at this chart. It couldn't be any clearer. With the admin model, the artist takes home $425,000 over that decade. With the traditional publisher split, that number plummets to just $250,000. Look at that gap. That is the cost of giving away ownership. So, if giving away your ownership is so risky and so expensive, what's the solution? Well, there's a pro-level strategy that the smartest artists use. It combines the best of both worlds, and it's all about putting you, the artist, first. But hold on, let's be fair for a second. Does this mean that a traditional publishing deal is always a bad idea? No, not necessarily. The real key is understanding when they might make sense, and more importantly, for who. Look, there are a few specific times when a full publishing deal might be the right move. Like if you need a huge cash advance that an admin service just can't offer. Or if you need a team that's going to be aggressively pitching your songs for huge movies and TV shows every single day. But even then, and this is the big but, the advice is crystal clear. You have to negotiate to keep as much of your ownership as you possibly can. And that all leads us to the smart play, the hybrid strategy. Here's what you do. Step 1. Early in your career, you keep 100% of your ownership, period. Step 2. You use a global administrator to collect all of your money from around the world. And then step 3, you only even consider a publishing deal way later on, when your catalog is super valuable and you can negotiate from a position of serious strength and power. You know, when you strip it all away, it just comes down to this one simple idea. Ownership is how you build long-term wealth. It's an asset that grows over time. Administration is how you maximize your earnings right now, making sure no money gets left behind. And using them together, that's the single most powerful financial strategy you can have as an independent artist. So please, if you forget everything else we talked about today, just remember this. The smartest move for the vast majority of artists is this simple, powerful idea that puts you in complete control of your career and your legacy. Own everything, administer everything, and give away nothing.